Thank you, Holly. Look at this awesome crowd we have on this first Sunday of October. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Welcome all, welcome everyone, including those who are Zooming or Facebooking, to the love and the light that is Unity of Lawrence. In Unity, we begin everything with prayer. Let's take a centering breath and open to the divine in all of us and listen to this prayer. On this day, we dedicate our hearts to peace on earth. We appreciate every abundant blessings bestowed upon us. In unity with all who seek to express freedom, joy, and transformation, we welcome our divine inheritance as creators. In harmony with this truth, we live to the best of our ability with a peaceful mind, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful spirit. And so it is. Amen. As you know, our prayer chaplains are trained to hold sacred space and pray one-on-one. If there is anything in your heart to be held in prayer, we invite you to see a chaplain following today's service at the front of the sanctuary. Our chaplains today are Betty and Gail. Our chaplains will also pray for you during the week. Just fill out a prayer request slip and place it in the wooden box outside the office. Chaplains can also visit in times of need. Just let the office know all prayers are confidential. And now please stand as you are able and join Holly in singing The Awakening.
Another day, another way, I have come for my awakening. Another start for my heart, I have come for my awakening. It's a new day for creation, and I'm at the starting line. I will dream at destination. Another day, another way, I have come for my awakening. Another start for my heart, I have come for my awakening. And now let's turn and greet each other this morning. Start for my heart, I have come for my awakening. It's a new day of creation, and I'm at the starting line. I will dream my destination, make it mine, already mine. Another day, another way, I have come for my awakening. Another start for my heart, I have come for my awakening. Another day, another way, another start for my heart. I have come for my awakening.
Thank you. Ooh, thank you, everyone. What energy we've got this morning. Okay. And now, as usual, it's time for our unity intentions. Please affirm with me unity's founding principle. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And now our Unity of Lawrence vision statement. United in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And now our Unity of Lawrence mission statement. We are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. Now, please welcome our special music guest, Greg Pellegrin.
Distract you. Okay. Hello, everybody. Such a wonderful place here and wonderful people. I lean a little bit towards blues and gospel stuff, so I'll do a little, just jazz it up a little bit here. I can get my little guy on here. And I'm sure you'll recognize this song, so if you want to sing along, please do. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Well, I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. Oh, a band of angels coming after me. I said, I'm coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Well, if you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home, just tell all my friends I'll be coming there soon. Said I'm coming for to carry me home. One more time now. Swing low, chariot, coming Swing low, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Reverend Dr. Martha Creek is widely known in New Thought. Her trainings approach deep inner work as an adventure with a sense of curiosity and wonder. A master of the art of right questioning, she calls forth the most stubborn and self-defeating patterns to create a new way of being, literally. Ordained in religious science and divine science, Martha has served as Great Lakes Unity Consultant and is a member of the Unity Institute faculty. She has attended Emerson Theological Seminary, master's and doctorate, Byron Katie School for the Work, and Hoffman Institute. She is a healthy congregations facilitator and trainer, and we love her. Welcome, Reverend Martha.
She loves you too. She really does love y'all. And somebody said yesterday, the first time they heard me say, I love you and I can't help it, they thought, she's weird. And now she said, I understand what you mean. So who we love is really none of their business. Right? I mean, ain't this good news? Ain't this good news for today? So, I mean, every time I take a podium like this, for 20-some years, I've been invited as guests to take podiums like this and to record talks and send them in. And we talked about, I've got beautiful friends and colleagues here. We took a road trip from Unity Village to come over this morning. So thank you all for being here. And it's folks that are here for the affiliated New Thought Network and what New Thought means for us and for those of us that are growth-minded. A very big difference between growth-mindedness and fixed-mindedness. Have you noticed? And if we don't mistake that everybody's growth-minded, we're going to have a better time of it. So then we will be drawn more to and more in integrity with ourselves to lean toward people that are more growth-minded. That says we understand, we can understand the mysteries of the universe. We're not here to make sense out of certain things that we can't make sense out of in this dimension. So my greatest spiritual practice, I'm often asked that in interviews and things, is to accept the mystery of it. How does that sound? It's like, well, internally we're going like, and not just internally sometimes, like, no, thank you. I'm not into the mystery of it. I know how it ought to be, and I'm going to control how it ought to be, and I'm going to manipulate how it's going to be, and I'm going to coerce and charm and will my way through it, and then wonder why I'm depressed or despaired or exhausted. Instead of like, no, I'm going to be better off if I accept the mystery of things sometimes. And then to the degree then I can live out. I mean, we won't ever take for granted a little lyric like this. I am here. Remember what we sung just a minute ago? I'm here for my awakening. I'm here again this morning for my awakening. I'm here mic'd up again this morning for my awakening. I'm here living out the integrity of my own soul's evolution to bring forth whatever gifts I have and to share them out into the world for my own awakening. And if anybody else awakens as a result of that, that's God's business. But whose soul, if we're responsible for anything, whose evolution are we responsible for? all together, we could have a little choir. We could have a note, just one little note. We'll go, me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Like, oh, ain't that good news? Then it's like, what she do, what he do, what she should, he wants, I want, I need. It's like, oh, wait a minute. I'm here for my awakening. I'll be better off if I just go with that. Then you'll just get a cup of tea and watch their antics. Like, oh my, that was me just a minute ago. There's not a thing they can say or do that I can't relate to. And talk about humility. Like, I'm always just one thought away from that. One thought, one unquestioned thought, away from that, whatever that is. So, humble, clearer, in integrity with the one thing, the one place in the world I may have some control over sometimes, depending on when I slept last, ate last, and who gave me my way this morning. Because what happens when we don't get our way? We'll call this part True Confessions of the High Righteous Spiritual Types. So when it doesn't go my way, like, well, just don't invite her. She is so critical. And don't invite her because she's so judgmental. Criticizing the critical, judging the judgmental, and complaining about the complainers. In the name of spirituality, then we'll hold hands and say, let there be peace on earth. Which is why I say they won't let me lead the peace song, because you know darn well what I say is, tell the truth, which is let there be peace on earth and let it begin with her. And as soon as she apologizes, I'll consider it. And as soon as he quits smoking, I'll think about it. And as soon as they invite me to all their parties, I'll think about it. Peace on earth. It's like, wait a minute. What if that's true? What if it's, I am here for an awakening, like, let there be peace on earth. And the only contribution to peace on earth I'm going to make today is what peace I make here. So, you remember those early little memories where you knew you were here to change the world? You know, that little knock? It was like, you're here on purpose. And you're like, oh shit. Really? Like, with these people? Like, on purpose. It's like, come in, come in, come in. And the more externally focused we get, the more exhausted we get, and the more tired. So it's what I believe when people say they've got these Martha-isms, and one of them is go within or go without. So it's literal. But oh, the allure. Oh, the allure to teach them a thing or two. In the name of kindness, of course. So, we could talk all day. Like, how do we react when we believe the world should be kind and they don't show up as that? True confessions. 3 Hail Marys, you'll be clear. So how do you react when you think they should be kind and they're not? How do you react and respond when you think you want them to be kind and they didn't show up as that? It's like, well, not all that kindly. Like, let's start there. And for me, it's a full-time job. So then all the kindness I can ever bring to the world won't be trying to whip them into a kind shape. whacking them over the head with something. And like more guilt, more shame, more blaming, more complaining, more criticism, more fault-finding, more nitpicking. And just notice what happened to your spirit just as I kind of went through that little litany. Like, who could bear it for long? Versus, I've got to, like, accept that that's a part of me, and it's not all of me. And the more that part, the natives taught it as, the metaphor of like which wolf's going to, I've got an inner wolf, a dark wolf, and a light wolf, or a black wolf and a white wolf, or a mean wolf and a better wolf. It's like which wolf's going to win. It's like the one I feed. And it, at least for me, it's not going to be because I suppress the other wolf and depress the other wolf and deny the other wolf or pretend the other wolf. But until I sit with that, those large, unmet, unresolved feelings and fear and pain and worry and abandonment, rejection, and all the traumas that went in place innocently way back there, to say all of those parts are waiting for some care from me, some love, some being held, and not just this notion of I'm healed, and I hear it most, and I ask too. I remember asking somebody 20-some years ago, like, Lord have mercy, when is enough enough? Like, how many books do you have to read? How many workshops do you have to go to? How many Martha Creek sessions do I have to have? And of course, she knew, she laughed, she was decades ahead of me. And she said, oh, it's simple, honey, just every morning check to see if you have a pulse. Y'all go ahead and check. And if you have one, that's how you know. Like, we've still got some work to do here. And it shifted for me over time, because it used to be like work was like drudgery. Like, there's so much work to do. Well, see, that's a little part of me. Y'all have that part? Like, I have to do that again. How much of that do I have to do? So let's just give that part some space. So just take your right hand and lay it right up on your forehead. And just sigh a little bit, like, oh. And if only they would do that. And if only he'd quit doing that. And so just give it some expression. See, notice it already feels better. So see, we can like set a timer and say, I'm going to give myself a 10-minute rant every day. And just let it out. Like, let it have some life. Like, I'm frustrated, I'm irritated, I'm let down, I'm disappointed. Like, oh my God, didn't they listen to one single word of that? Oh my God, they promised. We have a contract. Any of y'all done that? Like, oh, you promise? Hey, could you sign this and say you promise? Like, oh, now they signed it. Then what do? What they've always done? Like, but you signed this. It's like, yeah, guess who that was for? 10 more years of delusion for me. Oh, I am here for my awakening. So until I have an awakening, you know how it goes? That's waiting on the next corner. For my awakening. For my awakening. So think about it then in terms of, where does it leave us then? So if today you actually meant it, I'm here for my awakening, how would you be for whatever crosses your path? How would you be with that? Shout it out. I'd be more loving about it. I'd be more open to it. This is an open mindset. How else would you be? You don't have to like it a bit. I'd be more forgiving about it. I'd be more accepting about it. You don't have to like it. Are you getting this part? You don't have to like it a bit. You sure don't have to love it. And if anybody if somebody has a flat tire and they jump out and go, oh, goody, goody, I got a flat tire, like you drive off. Like you leave them there with their party and that flat tire. But we don't have to like it. We don't have to love it. And we can be more compassionate about it. We can be more understanding about it, more inclusive. We claim to be inclusive. Like, oh, well, that's just if it goes my way. Versus more accepting, more open-minded, more forgiving. Herein lies the power of the universe. Herein lies the power of the universe for me to discover. And it's either do it the old way, which has been handed down since creation, 2,000 recorded years, or be the one that says, I'm going to be the new way with this. Whatever comes to me, I'm going to be with it in a new way, a neostasis, a new way of being, not homeostasis, not handing down to the next 7 generations what's been handed down. I'm going to be one of the ones that says, there's a new way to be with this. There's a new thought to have about this. There's a new choice I can make in this that's substantially, exponentially going to affect my life experience, and therefore the whole of humanity, if quantum theory is true. So if I want to be a change agent for the world, and I want to be something better, and I want to create a new world and a world that works for all, full-time job. And then the more I can rest at night. Did I bring to it all I knew to bring to it? And when I can't, when I'm not proud about how I showed up or proud of how I responded, not to shame and hate and recriminate and guilt myself again over and over and over again, versus the care of my own soul that would go into that part and comfort it. So we learned something from that. Like, I'm not proud of that moment, and it was included in my awakening. It was where I was at the time. It's all I could bring to it at the time. And I'm going to learn from that, and what I'm learning is not for back there. What I'm learning today is for whatever's coming, whatever's up the road from here. So in the workshop, I hope you can stay, and something will prompt you to stay, even though you think you have something else to do. Something else will prompt you to stay, like, she's just crazy enough. There might be something to that. Or something else will prompt you. So stay if you can. And we'll be looking at these very grounded practices on how to do some of this. And meeting our own boogers with anybody here free of boogers? Like, I get excited when I ask, because I'm just sure one day somebody will throw their hand up, and we want to film it, of course, because you'll probably ascend this afternoon. And we'll film it, and then all the money woes are over for everybody. So we got, in the human form, there's some boogers. And there's nobody immune from them, and especially this one. You know, just always one thought away. One thought away. So grounded, practical, spiritual ways of being with whatever is included in the physical a little differently. So my guided this morning was in listening, in the truck driving over, PJ said, Lord, I was getting crazier and crazier. There was something going on, and I just had to go, girl, go to God. Just go to God. So she had to reel it in. Have you ever had those moments? It's like, well, the more I try to stick my nose in here, the more I try to advise, coach, and counsel, the more I try to get them off their wayward ways, the harder and faster they go. And somewhere I got to go, oh, wake up, girl. Back to yourself. And PJ said it as, I had to go to God. I had to go to God. And whatever God doesn't work for you, use anything. Go to sanity, go to clarity, go to integrity, go to abundance, go to life, go to force, go to manna, go to whatever word works for you. But what is solid ground? What is a place that passes understanding how I could have this kind of peace in a situation like this wouldn't make sense even to me. And it certainly wouldn't make sense to those around us. And there's all the power of the universe is in that place. And I remembered years ago going to this little old country church, Bug Tussle, Kentucky. Y'all remember where I'm from? And this family had sent their two little boys to church, and they didn't want to go to church, but they sent the kids because you're supposed to. And the boys decided they're going to play in the woods that day instead because they were confident nobody would notice that they weren't there. Well, guess what happened? They noticed. So the pastor called the family and said, "Where were the boys today?" And the family said, "Well, they're at church. Like we dropped them off at church." And he said, "Well, no, they weren't here." So the boys were there like they'd been to church, ready to get picked up. So the parents were like, "Where you been? We know you wasn't in church today." Holy. Okay, go in front of the pastor. So the pastor now has got to teach them a lesson. He's got to get through to them how important it is, where church is, and where God is, and what God is. So he brought them in one at a time, the little boys, and he just brought the first one up to teach him a lesson. And he just kept saying over and over to this little guy, "Where's God? Where's God? I want you to tell me, where's God?" And the little guy's just getting more and more scared, eyeballs up to here. He couldn't answer, "Where's God? You tell me, where's God?" And the little guy just got up, freaked out, and went running out of the room. And he ran down, and his little friend was sitting there, and he said, "It's worse than we thought. God is missing, and they think we have him." So, let's get out of here. And I remember, just how funny it is that anybody in the world thinks they know where God is, and how we fall under a spell of what we've been taught and encouraged about without ever questioning, is that true? Is that actually true for me? That could be their convictions, and if that's their convictions, Godspeed. But it's not my conviction. It's not actually what I believe. So what is it we do believe about it? How would you answer the question, where's God? So, to live a life contemplative, truly contemplating this, where's God? Where's God? And then it was this shift, and I used this recently again from, I read, well, God is nowhere. And it's like the old me would have went, "Ooh!" And the clear me goes, yes. There's, that God is nowhere. That God of my little limited understanding, that God, that little belief that thought God's my Santa Claus. No offense, Chris. That God is my Santa Claus, if I'm a good girl and I put my list in and I pray daily and I it'll all just come right to my feet. And then when it doesn't, where does it leave me? Where does it leave my relationship with God? So nowhere, there is nowhere with God. So think about then shifting that nowhere to now here. Just one letter moves. Now here. So in any situation, the way she just looked at me, now here. God's now here. God's now here. The way they just roll their eyes at me, now here, now here. They didn't invite me to their party. God spared me for it. I just not caught up to that yet. Now here. Now here. You know what I'm talking about? Where you claim you want to go to their parties and you're mad because you didn't get an invite. But then you never go in and say, did I really want to go to that party? And the answer is no. But we pretend we did. Because we've got it set up as they owe me something, or after all I've done for her. Instead of like, I didn't even want to go to begin with. Like I was just the last to know. So like true contemplation. So it's our basic principles in New Thought. One power and one presence in all the universe. God is, this is my little simple way that I have to stay with this. God is, or reality is, whatever you call it. I am. I pray that way. I affirm that way. I treat that way. So I speak that way. I express that way. So God is, I am, I think that way, I pray that way, and then I respond that way, which is why I say these principles should have been inverted. Because I was pretty quick to traipse around for about 2 decades going, there's one power, one presence in all the universe. It is good. How are you? Fine, fine. It's like, well, tell your face, because it ain't caught up to how fine you are. Versus the fifth principle, unity's fifth principle is to live this out. So the more I live it out, the more I pray that way, the more I think that way, the more I demonstrate that way, the more I express that way, then I'm more likely to experience God is, I am. Instead of waiting for God is, I am, and I'll just be a knucklehead and see how it falls. Versus, no, I got to start with changing a few things. And guess where? And rinse and repeat. So this is from an author named Jim Palmer. And he says, you will never find a separate God. Does this sound familiar? Sound like New Thought? You won't find a separate God. There is not a separate God. A God that is located somewhere in space and time. God is space and time. God is through and as all things. Sound familiar? So, is it true or not that God is in and as and through all things? Not that attitude. No. I reject. Welcome to hell. So, whatever we reject, what's the law? Whatever I resist, oh, okay. So resistance would not be a sane, sensible thing to do here anymore. If the word God doesn't work for you, find one. Grace, whatever, abundance, buttermilk, just, pick something. So let's get a sense of this then. What if this is true? There's no God out there. There's no God that I got to find. There's no God that's lost. And that I am not separate from it. So whatever I'm experiencing is a part of it, the thing itself. And yes, it hurts. And yes, there's loss. And yes, there's grief. And yes, there's change. And yes, there's shock and devastation and despair and addictions. Yes. And I won't ever understand all of that in this dimension. And it's a part of my awakening. So there's some power then in me being with this differently. And then changing what I can. Sound familiar? Accepting what I cannot. and waking up to the difference. Then rinse and repeat. So, I invite you to say out loud, I'm here today for my awakening. I'm here today for my awakening. And then feel it. You might say it again or silently and then feel it. I'm here today for my awakening. We are here today for our awakening. And we begin again today in our awakening. So whatever appears within the lived human experience is not outside of God. We're here today to accept that we share and have burdens like that and to do our best not to let our hearts be as troubled by that, knowing and standing and referring again and again and again to the truth that whatever appears in my lived human experience is for my human learning processes, my awakening. So let us be freer today, even in our fragility, even in our temperance, impermanence, the transitory, ever-changing way of reality. And let us live out. Let me live out. There's one power and one presence in all the universe. And the difference of separation and real oneness, true oneness, and not oneness as a concept, but oneness as an embodiment. Solid ground. And today's the day again. All blessings to you. And if I can ever serve you in any way, marthacreek.com is the way to get in touch with me. And I know who you are. I also know what you are. And I know deeply what your roles are here, based on what I believe I'm here to do, and you're here to do, which is why we're together, which is to serve those who serve, and to serve those who will serve, and to serve those who will come back over here one more time, one more book, one more prayer, one more singing, one more workshop, one more session, one more rant, whatever it takes to stay in integrity with our own soul. And I know that the better I stay in touch with my soul, the quicker and faster that moves me toward my goals. So serve the soul and then serve the goals, and what power there is in that. And hang around today if you can, or come back at 12:30 and I'll torment you another few minutes. Yeah.
Well, that was wonderful. I have to follow that. This is a song that, kind of has a mind, something to kind of put you at peace and when things are kind of stressful. And I wrote this about my grandson. Quick story, when he was 2, he didn't say a lot. We're signers. We got deafness in our family and stuff. And he'd sign, but he wouldn't ever talk. And whenever I saw him, all he would say to me was ball, because he liked to play ball all the time. And I tried him to say, Grandpa, say this, say that. Ball. So I looked at the moon one night, and I was out there with him outside, and it was a big full moon like the one we have. And I said, oh, man, I'm gonna get him to say moon. So this is the sign for moon. And his name's Hayden. I said, Hayden, look, it's the moon. Moon, Hayden. Moon. And he looked walked up there with those big old brown eyes, and he goes, "Ball!" I thought, well, what the heck? You know, he's just telling it like it is, right? It's a ball. It's this big silver white ball. So I wrote a song about it. So there's a mantra in it, and you can say it when it comes around, and after I do it once, you'll know when it comes around. Okay. It's just called Hayden. My grandson's name is Hayden. He stands about 2 feet tall. He's got wavy brown hair and a great big smile. And when he looks at the moon, he says, "Ball." Something everyone should think about. An idea that's simple to all. When trying to analyze every little thing, you should just look at the moon and say, "Ball." Well, sometimes the lights, they seem so bright, but seem so dark in here. You can't take the pressures now. It seems like nothing's fair. These things, they are important, should be a concern to us all. But trying to analyze every little thing, you should just look at the moon and say, "Ball." What goes around comes around. An idea that's simple to all. But when the pressure of life seems so stressful, he just calls the moon ball. Well, politics, crime and violence, hunger and fear, depression, wars, bills and credit cards, something in the air. Hayden's getting kind of fussy. He's tired, he's had a long day. The same at times is true for all of us, yeah, but you know, sometimes that's really okay. Should think of him and his philosophies, an idea that's simple to all. If you're stressed and angry or even just tired, you just look at the moon and say, "Ball." Very good. If you're stressed and angry or even just tired, you should just look at the moon and say, "Ball."
This is a time for us to meditate, to integrate. Ball. Be aware of your breath and that you're being breathed. There's life in your veins, in the circulatory system, cells getting oxygenated. There's not a thing you're doing for it. the music, what it took for the music, the notes, the writing, the arrangements, the instrument, the way sound travels to the ear, and bow to the mystery of it. And maybe some sorrow that may be in your heart. And give it a place this morning. Let it be there. It's included too. Bawl. A ball of sorrow. Be aware of your passions, the drive that you have, the purpose to awaken, to be and express something greater than any of us know yet. So give the passion some room too. Stoke the fire of that passion. And of a sensibility. Notice there's a part that wants to let go and a part that can't. And let that be okay too. And a part that's courageous. And a part that knows fear, that still has fear. Let both parts be there. No bad parts. All parts, part of my wholeness. I invite you to silently or aloud say these words with embodiment. God as me. God is me, God in me. God in me, God as me. God through me. God the ground of all being. God the process and the processing. God the essence. God the immanent. And God the right now. Now here. Now here. Now here. We give thanks for this awakening. And this day we begin again.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm going to get back to a little gospel again here for you. It's a song by a gentleman named Keb Mo. Yeah, he does some nice blues songs and gospel songs. This is a song called God Trying to Get Your Attention. Well, you might be saved, might be reborn, might own a car with a big loud horn, Maybe it's just news on your television. Or maybe it's God trying to get your attention. Are you an engineer working on the farm? Or a Casanova with a whole lot of charm? Maybe it's a mouse living in your kitchen. Maybe it's God trying to get your attention. Well, it might be bad and it might be good. Might be made of steel, might be made of wood. Maybe it's just news on your television. Or maybe it's God trying to get your attention. Well, it might be in the church house and it might be in the street. One way or another, every soul has got to be. Might be in the city and it might be in the town. One way or another, gonna find a higher ground. Well, you might be smart or you might be dumb. You'll get that answer when the message comes. Maybe it's just news on your television. Or maybe it's God trying to get your attention. Well, it might be in the church house and it might be in the street. One way or another, every soul has got to be. Might be in the city and it might be in the town. One way or another, gonna find a higher ground. Well, you might be deaf and you might be blind. You'll get that message right in your mind. Might look like a plan or a coalition. Or maybe it's God trying to get our attention. Maybe it's just news on your television. Or maybe it's God trying to get your attention.
Thank you, that was wonderful. As our ushers come forward for our time of thanks, I invite you to join me as we hold our gifts to this community in our hands and love in our hearts. Let's affirm together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and so it is. As the love offering is collected, let's join Holly in singing, I release, I let go.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
As our ushers come forward, here's our prayer of thanks. Please listen. We are grateful and we bless the flow of good that supports our unity community. We bless the givers who give their time, talent, and treasure. We stand in the knowing that the flow of good goes forth only to return again and again, and so it is. Amen. Special welcome to our guests today. Thank you for joining us. If you would like more information, please pick up a welcome packet in the foyer. Also, very special welcome to those attending from the ANTN convention. We're so happy to have you with us. Sunday Lunch Bunch is meeting at Chipotle at 4000 West 6th Street. Everyone is welcome. And now for a brief announcement from, you.
Thank you, John. It was a surprise to me, too. So my name is Rachel Gaither. I am the Young Adult and Next Gen Coordinator for Unity Worldwide Ministries. That's the Young Adult program after high school. And I have had, for over a year now, the esteemed pleasure of working with Robin Goff. How many of you know Robin? Yes, yes. How many of you are familiar with her ministry, the Light Center in Baldwin City? Yes. And how many of you are familiar with the program that the Light Center has worked with for over 20 years called Love Light? Yes. Knowing Robin, she's probably mentioned it to every single person here at least once, unless this is your first Sunday, in which case, get ready, because I'm about to talk to you about it now. So, Love Light is an exchange program and a support program for a sister city, Riviersonderend, yes, in South Africa. I got it right that time, guys. I'm so proud. Joan would be so proud. So this is a program that's been going on for over 20 years, and a brief synopsis is that it supports the education of the youth in that community and supports the community in supporting the youth in their own education. And it's become an exchange program where we have youth leaders come here, and we have our international youth leaders go there to lead events for youth that teach them generic spiritual principles like unity for self-worth, self-esteem, leadership, confidence, community, trust, and it has transformed their community. And with us today, we have our delegates from South Africa for this year. Would you mind standing when I name you? We have Joan Johnson. She's worked with the program for 20 years. She's remarkably generous as a human being and persistent and unyielding, really, really. We have Calvin Johnson, one of our youth delegates, and we have Marishan Witboy. And of course, Robin has joined us as well. Feel free to speak with her after the service if you want to know more. And we're very pleased to have them with us. We will be seeing lots of cool stuff this week. We also have a day event for teens this coming Saturday at the Light Center. If you'd like to know more about that, it's going to be awesome, so you should come. Bring your young people. But if you would be interested in joining us for any of the activities this week or the day event on Saturday, please come up to Robin or myself after the service, and we'd be glad to share some information with you. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to Bethany and Sarah Freeman for sprucing up our beautiful community bulletin board. If you have something to share or are in need of something, you can let the office know and we will get it posted for you. See Kathy if you have any questions. Reverend Martha is continuing her time with us and invites everyone to come back at 12:30 for more about living untethered. Remember, open meditation meets on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Unity Talks is canceled for Friday, October 20th. Our next Unity Talk is Friday, November 3rd with Dan Wildcat. Join Phil Roger for the Sacred Circles Meditation and Mandela Retreat this Saturday, October 7th at Fairchild Wellness Retreat in Overbrook, Kansas. The retreat will include short bits about mandalas and sacred circles, their use as spiritual tools, with several idea-gathering activities, viewing a few examples and a few short contemplative meditations with an extended time for everyone to create their own personal mandala or sacred circle. No art is required, really zero. The $25 donation is for the retreat and all supplies, limited to 15 people. The sign-up sheet and more information are available in the foyer, and I believe Cheryl has a quick
As many of you know, I'm selling my retreat center, the Fairchild Wellness Retreat Center, and I'm going to build another magical place 2 blocks away. So this will be your last opportunity to come and spend time at the retreat. It's a beautiful, magical place. And Phil is a magical person. The description he just read is, we're going to make mandalas. We're going to meditate about, mandalas. It's going to be fun. You're going to get to lounge with hammocks, and I'm going to make snacks, and we have, it's going to be a wonderful time. So sign up. It's our last opportunity to have a retreat at my place.
Thank you, Cheryl. We invite you to join us next Sunday when Jay Pryor brings us the message, I think, uh-oh. Special music with Sugarfoot Detour. It's now time to rise as you are able and sing the peace song.